I'm Joe Matthews, and I played back in 47 and 48. And that was, after playing in 47, they decided not to have a football team for 10 years.
Okay.
I guess we were bad enough to do that. We won the first 4 or 5 games and lost the last 5. We had run out of players down to about 14. And I played fullback and linebacker. And I was a sophomore at that time, and I didn't get to play football. Played a little at Denver, just when I was a freshman. And
where are you at now? Where do you live now? And
I live near Howe now.
Okay.
I've lived in Sherman and House since that time.
Okay.
1 mile out here in the country, and I spent 12 years in Sherman since graduating from Howe High School.
Great, great.
So I haven't been far from this
Yeah.
state.
Okay. And would you mind to introduce yourself?
Stan Francis. I played from 45 through 49, lettered 4 years, and had the pleasure of playing with Joe Matthews. As he said, the last year we ran out of players. We got down to 13, and that left us 11 with 2 substitutes, and 2 of them had never played football.
Oh, wow.
And we wound up, as he said, winning the first 5 games and losing the last 5. We won the district 2 years that I played, and 1 year went undefeated.
Wow.
So
Now, what position did you play?
I played wingback and running back.
Okay. And where are you now? Where do you live now?
I live in Greenville, Texas.
Okay.
Been there since 1957, and I'm glad to be back.
Well, great. Glad to have you here, too.
Thank
Were you on the team, any team, too?
Yes, I'm Travis Arterberry, and I played on the first team when we started back in 1958. And we started back with 8-man football, and I played left end. And I think we were just about 500. I'm not sure. I think it was 5-5 was the record. And I was a junior that year, and so I played 2 years. And the second year, I think we were again about 500. I don't remember exactly the record, but it was a good start. We had a lot of fun, a lot of memories, and it's just good to be back now.
Where are you at now? Where do you live now?
I live in Russellville, Arkansas.
Oh, okay. So you came away.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you
It's good
here.
to be here.
Congratulations on this.
Thank you.
Thank you. There we go.
I'm Glenn David Heston, as they called me when I was in school. I was on the first football team that I ever had. We had one boy that played tackle that had just one lung. We played 60 minutes then, and he just had one lung, and he'd never seen a football game. He played in the first football game here in Salt.
Wow.
Well, we went to Tioga to play them. Well, with Tioga's water, we carried our own water with us, so we wouldn't have to drink the Tioga water. And so we got a farmer out here with a flatbed truck. And so we got on that flatbed truck and went to Tioga and played our first football game. Then we played 60 minutes. And I think we got beat that first game, but we come back later and beat them. And then in 36, we won all the district. And I have a picture of all district.
Oh, great.
Team in 36. But,
What position did you play?
well, I told the coach here a while ago I never played football for Hal.
Oh, okay.
I was Bill Cloud's substitute.
Oh, okay.
I just stood it up every game just in case they needed it. But I did play halfback one year and quarterback the next. But then I was Bill's substitute. And when you played then, you come out one time during the quarter. And when you go back in, but if you come out again, you had to stay out the rest of the quarter. We played the whole game.
Wow.
Bill played 60 minutes, lots and lots of games. They'd all play 60 minutes. because you couldn't substitute in and out like you do now. And so we had to be in pretty good shape.
Where do you live now?
I live here now.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
So it was a different game then than it is now.
Yeah.
More rugged.
Definitely.
It had to be, I believe, in a little better shape because we played 60 minutes. It took a lot of doing it. We were fortunate. We had the first coach we had played professional football and come to Howe to play the coach.
Oh.
Barnes' mom, he's in the Austin College Hall of Fame.
Oh.
He played for the New York Giants and then quit that job and come to Howe to coach football. According to the coach, I think, according to Charles Thompson, I think he got maybe $75 a month. And then we got our next coach for the next year, L.B. Morris, which is in the Texas football coaching Hall of Fame. And we won district that year.
Oh, okay.
And White beat us in my district. I'll never get over that. And so that's just about the story.
Well, great. I appreciate you giving your story. And we're glad to have you here tonight, too.
Well, I couldn't miss it. And here's my jacket.
All right.
Would you like to undo it?
There we go. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, wow. That's great.
One of the first football jackets that I ever had.
Well, thanks a lot for your story and your time. I appreciate it.
Are we going? Okay. My name's Steve Simmons. I've coached here at Howe since 1987. In 1990, we finished second in our district, and our by-district game was against Salina. They were ranked number 2 and undefeated in the state. But the week before the game, we got word that they had some T-shirts printed up that had Salina by-district champs on it, and that they were going to be wearing them under their uniforms during the game. So we, during the pep rally, we came up with a T-shirt that said Salina by-district champs, and we pulled it out of the sack and showed it to the boys, showed it to the student body, said a few words about it, and how they were probably anticipating a victory maybe too early. The shirt ended up in the floor, and the boys pounced on it and ripped it up to shreds. They tied pieces of it on their jersey and on their helmets and on their belt. But I remember the thing about that game was the electricity before the game. The community was fired up, the kids were fired up. And in the locker room before the game, they had put balloons. Everything just seemed right for an upset. And I was going to give a little talk to them before they went on the field and take a balloon and bust it and talk about exploding. I said, you know, what if that balloon don't even pop? What if I just squeeze it? So I practiced on that while they went out for a little while to warm up, and they came in, and I remember they got around me, and I said, let's go out there, you know, and smashed that balloon, and it popped, and it exploded, and they exploded, and we went out that door. And the first half, our kids played on a high level of adrenaline, and we came in halftime behind 14-0. This was what's so incredible about this game. When we went into the halftime, everybody's spirit was up. Nobody was down. The coaches were excited. We made a halftime adjustments and went back out. The crowd was shouting. We took the ball, drove it down the field, scored. Got the fourth quarter drive, scored again, got our extra points, tied it up 14-14. And we advanced in the playoffs on penetration since Salina was eliminated. And after the game, you know, I had a friend on the Salina side that said that, yeah, people were offering to give away some pretty cheap T-shirts after that game. They didn't have no use for them then. But on our side, we felt like we were carrying the head of Goliath. You know, we, like David, slayed the giant, and we were very excited. That was a very, very special moment. Since I've been here 14 years, and the 14 years I've been here,
well, that's great.
That was very special. So, and it's always, you know, great when you upset a team that's
right.
Really good.
Oh,
they
yeah.
are really good, and they have a good tradition. It was really neat when the Bulldogs go in there and win that game.
That's right.
We went on and won, and actually we tied the next game with Alney and advanced again on penetrations.
Wow.
Got 3 deep into the playoffs before we were eliminated. So
That's pretty
It was a
good,
great
though.
season.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the story and your time.
Well,
Thanks a lot. Here we go. Let's kind of hold that still. Okay.
My name is Leon Thornhill, and I've been in-house since 1960, and I started broadcasting the play-by-play from the press box in 1982. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and most of these fellows that are going to be honored tonight on the All-Century team, I have watched play on this very field, and it's been my privilege to watch each one of them. A lot of great athletes, and better still, a lot of great men, young men that come out of this town, and I'm proud of each one of them. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Bobby Hawkins in 1976. I was all-district middle linebacker, and I currently teach and preach in Grayson County, so thanks.
Okay, thank you.
David Norman, 1979, defensive end, and also offensive tackle.
Where do you live now?
Leonard, Texas.
Okay. Well, thank you, and glad to have you here. Well, you're on tape now. Okay.
I'm Henry Allgood,
And what position did you play in what year?
fullback, 42 and before,
Where do you live now?
Longview, Texas.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for your time, and glad to have you. Oh, that's all right.
Everybody in both lanes together. Got a meeting.
Hey, we got free hot dogs out there.
Okay. What's your name?
Tommy Gailey,
And what position did you play?
quarterback,
For what year?
63.
Okay. And where are you living now? Oh, okay, so you're pretty close by. Well, thanks for your time. Glad to have you here. Hang on. Just introduce yourself and who your dad was. And
Okay, my name's Jim Holloway. My dad's name is also Jim Holloway, and he played for the 1945 district-winning Howe Bulldogs.
wow, okay.
Undefeated, untied, and unscored on.
Oh, great. And this is all the family, huh?
My mom, Laura, Sherry, my sister, my wife Carol, my son Jake, and my other sister,
Great.
Karen.
Great. We appreciate.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. All right, attention now in reverse chronological back to 1935. So we need to.
And,
I'm Ron Beard,
and what position did you play?
back,
What year?
58.
Where do you live now? Right here?
I try to stand up, but I'm retired.
Okay. Well, glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And your name?
Ed Estes.
What position did you play?
I played in both ways.
What year?
49. Graduated 49.
Where do you live now?
Dennis.
Okay. Do you have any good memories or anything? A good story you might want to put on here?
Got a lot of good memories, but we better not talk about it.
Well, I appreciate your time. Congratulations. Go ahead and say it again. Go ahead and start all over again.
Alton Norman, 1960, running back.
And where do you, go ahead.
That's all.
And where do you live now? Where do you live now?
I live in Howe.
Okay, great.
Not too far from home.
Have your attention, please. I want to introduce you to the Master of Ceremonies. He's been the PA announcer here for about 20 years going on. I think this is his 19th season. Please make welcome Leon Thornhill. Thank you, Monty. The Howe Bulldogs All-Century football team was chosen based upon first team all-district selection over the years. If all-district records were not available to be researched, then the captains of the teams were selected. The reason to take the first team all-district players was in order to make a fair selection. All-district selections were and still are determined by votes of the coaches in the respective districts. Every member of the all-century team played football on this very field. And now I present to you the Howe Bulldogs All-Century team. It's on record that the football was played in Howe in 1909 and just 3 years after the opening of the school. Some early great players were in 1950 Captain Jim Wheat, Captain Omar Hardin, and Captain Jack Denton. Then Howe started the football program in 1935 after not playing for 15 years. Howe was not called the Bulldogs and played on this very field. The first head coach was the former New York Giant of the National Football League named Barnes Millen. They rode to their first game over in Tioga, just a little west of here, on a flatbed truck. Howe now has an official football program because of the newly formed UIL. All-century members of that team were in 1935 the captain Jack Bradley, 1935 center Bob Cloud, 1935, and we have this gentleman with us tonight, Mr. Glenn Heston. Glenn, raise your hand down on the end there. There he is. Howe won his first district championship in 1936 under the leadership of the new head coach L.B. Morris, who was inducted into the Texas Coaches Hall of Fame. All-century members on the 1936 team were Billy Bryant Cloud, James Duke Knox, James Patterson, and Leroy Mutt Wiggins. Howe wins the district again in 1937, and the members of that team were Claude Pitcher, Melvin Powell, and Dwayne Wood. That was your 1937. Are those gentlemen present? Any of those? In 1938, Howe again wins district, and the 1938 captain was Chuck Barnett. Another member, Odie J., and also Captain M.H. Jeter. Howe captures the third district title in 1939, and the captain of that team was Delbert McGraw. The fourth straight district title came in 1940, and a member of that team was Bill Carter. Not only did Howe lose the district championship in 1941, but they also lost their head coach. players went to Mr. Charles Thompson, which is still in our community. And I don't know whether Mr. Charles is here or not. But they went to him and begged their case to play football again that season, even without a coach. Charles Thompson told them that if they were serious about playing, then he would drive the bus. That team went on to win the district title under the leadership of their quarterback and makeshift coach, Mr. Tony Brinkley, in 1942. Also a member of that team, Henry Lee Allgood, J.C. Gallimore, L.B. Kirby, and Robert Miller. Are any of those members present? 1942. 1943 members are Corey Jones and J.R. Saxton and Jack Jeter. I think some of those men are here. I don't know where they are. Jack's down there. I saw him earlier. In 1944, once again, they won the district championship. And the captain of that team was Benny Frampton, also Captain Wayne Gray. I know he's here. I heard him talking somewhere once. Where's raising hand, Wayne? There he is. In 1945, now Bulldogs to make history for going on to an 8-0 regular season and giving us 0 points in all those games. They were not scored upon. That members of the 1945 All-Century team, James Holloway, William Long, and James Tillett. Any of those members here? Okay. Once again, Howe won for the 9th time in 11 years. They won the district championship. Howe's 1946 defense is still top ranked in school history. Members of that 1946 team were Paul Malone and Glenn Snyder. In 47, and we have some of these men here I know, Ned Estes, Jack Gaddis, Tommy Julian, and Walter Seagal. Raise your hands down there, fellas. There they are. 1947. 1948,
I just don't want you to lose the seat
we
later when
had
it gets
Captain
packed. They can't
Stanley
find one later.
Franklin,
Somebody comes on their seat.
Joe Matthews, and Billy
They may
Miller.
not show up.
And I think all 3 of those
They may
guys
not
are
show
here.
up. I just have to get ready to lose their seat later because there's 2 full-time girls there. Just the middle section. Those are not reserved. Just the middle section. And there's some more down in here.
Howe had to call it quits with the football program after 1948 season due to the shortage of players. It wasn't until 1958 Howe would once again play ball on this very field. When it did, Arthur Ball was the head coach, and these were his best players in the 8-man league that they played in 1958. 3 of those fellas I believe were here: Jimmy Bearden, Ronnie Bearden, and Charlie Sprout. Raise your hand down there. In 1959, Howe had one all-district player, and that is Travis Alderberry. There he is. 1960, Howe started 11-man football again, and it wouldn't change. In 1960, all-century member Alfred Norman. 1961 had 2 players, Mike Faber and Tommy Gale. 1962 had 1 player, Ronnie Langford. 1963, 1 player, Melvin Plumley. After a number of coaches came and went, Howe got a head coach in 1964 who would never go away. We can't run him out of town. He's my best friend, but we still can't run him out of town. He was the head coach for 12 seasons, garnering more victories than any other coach to this day. Is Norman Dickey here? Yeah. Where is Norman? Eating hot dog. You might expect that out of him. In 1965, the All-Century team had two members, LaFell Brown and Gary Moody. 1966, four members, Jimmy Don Billy, Lynn Cavender, Harold Finney, and Lee Bailey. 1967, again, four players were selected, Donald Bonner, Gary Gray, Randy Ingram, and Jimmy Wormsbaker. In 1968, three members were selected, Dale Bonner, John Keaton, and Jimmy Watson. In 69, we had three players, Wayne Armstrong, Johnny Belden, and Johnny Troxel. 30 years ago this fall, the Dogs had the best season to date. Howe not only won the district, but also won by district for the first time in school history. They didn't stop there as they defeated Windthorst 22-0 in the regional game. Head coach Norman Dickey had taken his 10-2 ball club as far as they could possibly go at that time in Class B football. All-Century member teams, and I told them a while ago, and I was just kind of joking them, but I said this bunch, they probably all ought to be in prison, but anyhow. Had several players, beginning with Mike Bledsoe, Jerry Dukes, Eddie Hamilton, Ricky Haney, Rick Haney, but his birth certificate says Ricky Lynn Haney. I don't care what he says. David Marson, Rick R., Butch Snyder, Butch Thornhill, and Tim Underwood. In 1971, four players selected: Steve Underwood, Lenny Gray, Donald Pierce, and Robert Trotter. 1972, three players: David Finney, Jack Hoffman, and Roger Langford. 1973 had one player, Dickie Thornhill. 1974, David Davis, Jackie Dunn, Jackie Monk. 1975, Jay Davis. Norman Dickey stepped down after the 75 season with more wins, with 51, than any other coach in the school history. Blackie Wade would then become the new coach. In 1976, three players selected to the All-Century team. Those are Hank George, Bob Hawkins, and David Stallings. In 1979, three players, Rodney Allison, Mark Harper, and David Norman. 20 years ago, Howe won a share of the district championship for the first time since the regional championship team of 1970. They were guided by the first-year head coach, Buck Smith. That year, we had two players selected to the All-Century team, Jeff Hawkins and Jeff Murdoch. 1981, three players were selected: Archie Sutton, Mark Woodbridge, and Scott Wortham. In 1983, three players: Greg Allison, Kenny Corneliuson, and Stephen Dobbs. In what would be Buck Smith's final season, how the Bulldogs won the outright district championship, and Buck was the coach of the year. In 1984, we had Randy Gear, Ricky Rockwell, and Ernie Willis. Then, under the head coaching of Jim Pryor, took the job in 1985 and took the Bulldogs to the regional championship game for the first time since 1970. This version of the Dogs was built on defense. A disappointing loss to Groton left Howe short of their dreams. But they had 6 players selected to the all-century team: David Dukes, Ken Johnson, Andre List, Andy Turner, Mark Wheeler, and Sammy Williams. Howe once again made it to the playoffs in '86 for the 3rd straight season, and the all-century members were Tony Boatman, Shane Cavender, Stephen Neely, Stephen Ogle, Ron Saltzman, and Jeff Simmons. Raise your hands down there, guys. They think you joined into these old groups down here. In 1987 was a very disappointing year by the missing playoffs despite of an 8-2 season. Members of the All-Century team for 1987 are Jesse Fair, Eric Holloway, Jay Norman, Romero Quintero, Brian Ross, and Grant Sutton. The Dogs were back in the playoffs in 1988, and 2 members of the All-Century team, Adam Coffey and Aaron Van Blaircom. 1989 was once again the big playoff year. Coach Pryor would lead his team to the regional playoffs for the 2nd time in 5 years. Howe had the 2nd best offense in school history at that time with the running shoot offense, but once again stopped in the regional game, this time by McGregor. And we have quite a number of players from the '89 team, beginning with David Beeman, Clint Bray, David Canada, Jerry Covington, Stephen Hawthorne, Tony McLean, Scott Nass, James Neely, Blair Nelson, Jay Skipworth, and Thomas Troxel. Raise your hands down there, guys. 10 years ago, Howe's team was Bulldog Magic under the new head coach of Joey McQueen. The Magic was displayed throughout the season, and 90 was the most exciting football team to this day. Howe squeaked into the playoffs by beating Bell's 12-11 score here on this field. They rallied by some shirts that Salina had made up that read Bi-District Championship even before the game started. Howe did what no one thought they could do. They advanced past Salina with a 14-14 tie and advanced on penetration to play Olney in the 2nd round. They tied again against Olney 10-10 and advanced on 1st down to the playoffs in the regional for the 2nd year in a row. The regional vote stumped Howe again, and Mark won on points 28-0. 1990 members: Wade Carson, Kevin Gray, Chris Hartwell, and John Norwood. Howe again won the district in '91 by having one of the best defenses in school history under coordinator Billy Hill. Members of that team: 1991, Michael Bailey, Trey Dedman, James Pulinchek, Scott Grogan, Damian Horton, Monty Walker, and Jason Williams. 91 team. 92, 3 players: Jason Bowles, Jeremy Francis, Doug Ogle. 1993, Terry Davis took over as the head coach and had 5 players: Brian Freeze, Thorsten Bort, Jeremy Johns, Justin Hopper, and Marcus Taylor. 93 team. 94 team: Jimmy Rivera, Jimmy Hancock, Matt Anderson, Nathan Gray. 1994. Then in 1996, David DeBoe takes over as the head coach, and he had 2 players in 96, Jared Mitchell and Devin Mize. In 97, had 1 player, Jacob Holcomb. 1998 was the most exciting Bulldogs team since the team that opened the decade. However, Howe would rally around school spirit and knock off Pilot Point in the bi-district. Howe has won the district championship for the first time since 1989. 1998 members are Joshua Bowles, Nathaniel Paul, Clint Grogan, Eric Hefner, Justin Merchant, David Nye, Billy Oswald, and Harlan Owen. Last year, the 1999 Bulldogs once again made the playoffs for the second straight year. The 1999 members, I believe 3 of these members are playing tonight, but 99 members, Chad Allison, Eric Allison, Michael Evans, Jeremy Paul, Keith Horton, Brian McDaniel, and Cody Zedler. Well, folks, that does it. This is the all-century team selected either by being a captain or making the first team all-district when they played on this field. No Bulldog game has ever been played other than right here. So we're looking at some ugly guys and some good-looking guys, but we're looking at some quality people. And let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you, fellas, for the years that you performed for us and we got to watch you play. We have one other thing that we need to do here tonight before we get away. If you will, let me read this to you. The All-Century Player Award. One player has been chosen to receive the All-Century Player Award to be recognized as the best football player from the 1900s to 1999. He wore the number 85, and if you've never heard of Billy Brian Cloud, just ask some of the older gentlemen that are here today about what a football player he was. He was respected by his teammates, coaches, and opponents. He went on scholarship to Southern Methodist University and had to leave early to serve his country in time of war. He did, however, finish at North Texas and was clocked at an amazing time of 9.1 in the 100-yard dash, not the 100 meters. He has often been referred to as the fastest ever to wear the Bulldog uniform. He played on the first official team in Howe in 1935 and scored the school's first touchdown. He scored a total of 17 that season, and 10 of them were for more than 60-yard runs. He was selected captain for the 1936 season and switched from halfback to quarterback. He rushed for over 1,200 yards and 18 touchdowns that season. In his last regular season game against Tom Bean, he amassed 247 yards and scored all of the team's 30 points on 5 touchdown runs. He scored 109 of the team's 159 points in 1936 and led the team to the first district championship in school history. His 35 touchdowns are still believed to be a school record. And it's my pleasure that she's here tonight, here to accept the Player of the Century Award for the late Billy Brian Cloud and his wife Mary Cloud, his son Bill, and his daughter Cynthia. And if you would come forward, please. This plaque says, Howe Bulldogs All-Century Player, Billy Bryant Cloud, 10-6-2000. Mary, we're glad you could do this. Thank you. Bill, this guy wasn't too bad a player himself, I tell you. Okay, Dale Bonner has told me to announce that there are free hot dogs starting at Until 7:30. Okay, they're down here somewhere, but they have free hot dogs until 7:30. One other announcement. Howe X Student Association invites all Howe X teachers, administrators, and board members to the high school for a reception beginning at 8 p.m. tonight. Please enter the building through the doors to the south end of the building. Beginning at 10 p.m. there will be a game show hosted by Dave Hilton, Integrity Entertainment. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, buildings will be open for tours of the middle school on the active school building on North Denny and the new high school. A reception and registration will be held at the high school. A catered lunch will be served at 11 till 1. The business meeting begins at 12 noon with entertainment beginning about 12:30 until 2 p.m. The reunion is a great way to keep up with the school spirit and cherishing memories. Come and be a part. All school reunions tonight and all day tomorrow. Again, thanks to each one of you, and let's get ready to rumble, as they would say. Monty, where are you? Where's Monty Walker? Did he get off already? Anyhow, let's give Monty Walker a hand for all the research that he's done. He spent some time getting all these facts and figures together. There he is down in the middle of the track there. Thank you, Monty.